And a happy Elimination Chamber Sunday to every single one of my Amplified Unit members out there in the world today. Hopefully you guys enjoy the pay-per-view tonight, and beforehand, hopefully you kick Sunday's ass, starting with the Amplified Man's 7th ever BC's Pro Wrestling Amplified podcast. Can't believe it's already been 7 episodes, and just like the first 6 episodes, we're gonna continue bringing the heat in this episode. We're talking Undertaker telling Vince he's headed to AEW's Double or Nothing weekend. We're going to talk Stone Cold calling Becky Lynch's The Man character sheer money. Is he delusional? Or does he have a point? Is he correct? You'll be interested to hear what the Amplified Man has to say about that. Sasha Banks, is she in or is she out of the chamber tonight? Seth Rollins nursing an injury. Is he going to be set for WrestleMania? The latest on Jimmy Uso and his arrest. And so much more. And I'm talking all of that, guys, is just in the first half an hour of this podcast. Later in the podcast, we're going to have the official full Elimination Chamber preview where I'm going to go over every single match. We're going to get amplified because some of these matches are befuddlingly, confusingly redundant bullshit. But we are kind of intrigued by some of these matches. So we're going to try to outweigh those negatives with some positives. But we're going to go over the entire card for Elimination Chamber later on. But again, like I said, we got a lot of news to go over first. I'm going to try for you guys to fit this all within 1 hour-ish. Because I know for the Royal Rumble, I hit you guys with over 3 hours of a podcast. Some of you guys caught that late, 3, 4, 5, even 6 o'clock in the evening. So by that time, Rumble was already on the air. So you couldn't watch the whole Amplified podcast episode. And a lot of you guys were upset that, BC, we love 3 hours, but man, Rumble is on. So maybe I should have put it out on Saturday for you guys, maybe even Friday, that episode. Oh well, we learned, right? I want to hit you guys with a huge Royal Rumble, and I'm going to do the same thing for Mania. So maybe I'll have that uploaded at 5 a.m. WrestleMania Sunday. So you guys got to get up 5 a.m. early, catch the podcast, go back to bed, wake up for WrestleMania. We'll see. But for this one, guys, I'll try to keep this within an hour. Let's start off with The Undertaker. This is huge. Conrad Thompson, he runs StarCast. This is the event. It's kind of like Access is to WrestleMania. Only Conrad Thompson has made it abundantly clear that he's not actually affiliated with AEW, or at least not technically. So I do want to put that out there. But technically or not, everybody joins at the hip. StarCast and AEW. And why, you ask? Because StarCast, the first ever one last year, was joined at the hip with All In, which was Cody Rhodes and Young Bucks' big event that they put on last year. Highly successful, by the way. So now the second ever StarCast is once again connected with AEW's weekend in Double or Nothing May 25th, that weekend. So everyone already assumes and connects and conjoins at the hip StarCast and AEW, whether they're technically together or not. And again, Conrad Thompson says they're not, and I believe him for the most part. But fans already connect the two together, and for good reason, because they are connected together. It's basically AEW's Access. That's where they have their big weekend, and they make sure that it's connected with Cody Rhodes and Young Bucks' promotion somehow. Last year, they weren't under the AEW umbrella, but it was connected with what they were doing with All In. This year, it's literally connected with All In. It's that weekend. It's right there in Las Vegas. So for Conrad to say, oh, it just happens to land in Las Vegas on the same weekend yet again. No, ain't buying that shit. This is an actual, thought out in advance, premeditated event. They knew exactly where they wanted this place. They knew exactly that they wanted the AEW crowd to be right there with StarCast and vice versa. It's going to be easy for everyone, and Cody Rhodes and Young Bucks know that that's going to be basically their Access type format, where you get to meet all your favorite superstars, get your autographs, get your photos, get pumped up for StarCast. So where am I going with this? Guys, I mentioned in last week's podcast that The Undertaker told Vince McMahon he's going to part ways a little bit, and he's going to start going into business for himself. he's going to start charging for appearances up to $25,000 every hour. Not a day, not a week. 25 grand an hour. I told you guys last week that. So now, like a soap opera, we now have more information. Somebody has actually signed The Undertaker for an event. That event is StarCast AEW Weekend in Las Vegas. So we were all stunned when that news broke last week that Taker is going to be taking other events, other bookings, other signings. Kind of parting ways from WWE a little bit. But now to hear that his first big event is going to be AEW Weekend around the AEW, in the AEW festivities at StarCast, this is mind-blowing news, guys. You spent your whole career as Vince McMahon's right-hand man. AEW's already got buzz and they haven't even put on a match yet or an event. And your biggest star, arguably, in the last 25 years, as far as the entire 25 years, longevity-wise, The Undertaker, he's showing up to AEW Weekend. Could you imagine if this guy showed up at Double or Nothing? I'm not saying he is. At this point, we think he's going to be the headliner in the Hall of Fame, which makes this even more weird that he would pull this now. But we didn't think Hulk Hogan would show up in WCW one day, but he did. We didn't think Hulk Hogan would turn heel one day, but he did. There's things in pro wrestling we never think we'd see, but they ended up turning the business upside down. You got a 7 or 8 billions of dollars this owner for AEW, Khan, has. Multi-billionaire. If Undertaker's all about the money right now as he gets older, which it looks like he is, he told Vince, listen, I can't do it for the amount of money you're offering me anymore. I'm going to go into business for myself, charging $25,000 an hour. If somebody like a billionaire goes up to him and says, hey, we'll give you several millions of dollars for these dates, is he not a businessman? Or is he just Vince McMahon's ass kisser? But could he do that? He spent his whole career being Vince McMahon's boy. What do you guys think? Let me know in the comments, man. If you were in the Undertaker's shoes, could you do that to Vince? Or do you feel you owe anything to Vince? You gave Vince the 25 years and Vince McMahon has been known to push his horses aside once they can no longer go. So are you a man at that point? Are you a family man? Are you a father? Are you a husband? Are you your own person? And a billionaire is offering you millions of dollars for select dates, almost a Brock Lesnar schedule, maybe even less. Would you show up at Double or Nothing? Or in the future for AEW for a few matches to get over some other talent? Or to help them get off the ground? Because anybody who says The Undertaker is not going to help you get off the ground, you are kidding and lying to yourself. Somebody like The Undertaker shows up to AEW, instant success. Instant success. I assure you, you're lying to yourself if you think The Undertaker, I don't care how old, I don't care how fast he can go now, how durable he could go in 30-minute match, I don't even care. The Undertaker showing up and putting his stamp of approval is instant credibility, instant success, an instant competition. It just is. Now again, I'm not saying anything like this is actually going to happen. We think he's going to be the main headliner, the headliner for the Hall of Fame, and that's another story I'll get to in a couple of minutes. Because you wouldn't even know there's a Hall of Fame coming around. No mention of it at all. But we think it's going to be The Undertaker. But this is odd lately, The Undertaker. He starts an Instagram or social media, Twitter at least. And that's not like The Undertaker. He cuts any mention of WWE off of his social media 4 days later. That was a telltale sign of, wow, what the fuck? What's going on? Why did he just delete all mentions of WWE? Then we see a photo surface with the TNA logo behind him. He had to have known, he was taking a photo with somebody, but he had to have known the TNA logo, the Impact, whatever it's called, the logo was behind him in huge print. Undertaker's not stupid. He knew that was behind there. Then all of a sudden, his first big signing, individual signing event is AEW Weekend at StarCast. That is sending people out in droves. They already sold out the show. That's going to send people out in droves to get excited. Las Vegas, May 25th weekend for AEW. Because again, Conrad says StarCast isn't associated with AEW, and I call bullshit. I say technicalities. Maybe there's no signed agreement. You guys are connected. Until Conrad moves StarCast to another date or another location next year, they're always going to look at it as connected. Mark Calloway, the guy who plays The Undertaker, he's a smart businessman. He knows what he's doing. This is strategic for some reason. I feel him and Vince McMahon are on the outs. He cuts off all mention of WWE in his social media. Then he has an Impact Zone TNA logo behind him. Then he signs up for AEW's weekend event, which again is ran by Conrad, called StarCast. Something is up with The Undertaker and Vince. I fully expect him to be the headliner this year. But if he is not going into the Hall of Fame as that headliner, guys, there's something wrong between Vince and Undertaker. And don't be surprised if in the future, Undertaker makes an appearance at either Double or Nothing or an event afterwards, because this guy is going to be rubbing shoulders and interacting with Cody, the Young Bucks, the Khans. That's right, the billionaires. He's going to be in talks with these people, you know it, even if it starts off as a joke. But when you're over 50 years old and you start thinking, I'm in the twilight of my career, I got a couple of matches left maybe, if I give it my all, I definitely still have a presence. These people can give me 10 times the amount of money as Vince. I got to think about my future. As Jim Ross would say, as JR would say, business is picking up. This is about to get interesting. This is huge news. And it looks like Undertaker's slowly parting ways with WWE. Is Vince going to put him in that Hall of Fame or not? Time will tell. If he is not introduced in the Hall of Fame, do not, mark my words, be surprised if he makes an appearance at Double or Nothing for AEW May 25th. Remember those words. Moving on, guys, I want to talk about Sasha Banks and Stone Cold Steve Austin, but first I want to kind of have a continuation with the Hall of Fame. What is going on with the Hall of Fame? We heard reports that Vince McMahon kind of wants to sweep that under the rug a little bit from now on. He doesn't want to put a lot of focus on that anymore. I wonder why. I think as Vince is getting older, his nostalgia is maybe wearing off a bit and he doesn't want to think about the past. Maybe, I have no idea. But the Hall of Fame is one of the funnest things of the weekend, I feel. I know a lot of people think that it goes too long, and the speeches sometimes can be boring, I understand. But for a fan like myself, who's been watching over 30 years, I love the Hall of Fame, man. I get to see all the old-time favorites get the respect that they deserve on a platform that is worthy enough to give a speech, and I feel the Hall of Fame is that. I know there's no actual place that you can go and visit, but the Hall of Fame is a whole night dedicated to these guys and gals. And it's a fun night, I feel. I learn a lot. It's an interesting night, and I learn a lot because they start telling stories that you never would have known or you didn't hear on some shoot interview on YouTube. So for fans like me, it's weird. It's the middle of February, and we haven't heard of one induction. We think, again, it's going to be Undertaker. We're hearing that it's going to be the Hart Foundation, Bret Hart and Jim the Anvil Neidhart. But other than that, they're not making, not just even a big deal, they're not making a deal at all about the Hall of Fame this year. I find that really odd, and I'm not on board with that, to be honest with you guys. Hall of Fame should be definitely brought, again, when you start pumping up the Hall of Fame, it really feels like WrestleMania season. And it makes us even more, even if it's subconsciously, it makes us more excited about WrestleMania. I think that's another big reason why this does not feel like WrestleMania season. And that leads into our next news story. Doesn't feel like WrestleMania season because we're not getting matches that anybody cares about. Ronda Rousey and Becky Lynch, and now it looks like Charlotte Flair as well, a triple threat, is going to be your main event. The problem is their booking list like utter garbage. Their booking list like it's a main event of maybe Backlash. And even it's not even worthy of a Backlash main event. But I said it leads into my next story, and that's Stone Cold Steve Austin. He actually went on his social media, and or maybe this was his podcast. I caught the news story kind of late when putting together this video. But Stone Cold Steve Austin publicly stated that he thinks the man character is money. And a lot of people who feel like I feel, they kind of hit Stone Cold hard, and they're like, money, what are you talking about? This isn't the best Becky Lynch. And we've seen better Becky Lynch. She should be badass. She shouldn't be weak. And here's the thing I'm going to say, guys. Stone Cold Steve Austin is 100% correct. Whether you call it the man or not, the character could have been money. And at first, it was money. And then WWE's machine got their hands all over it. So Stone Cold's right in his theory, but Stone Cold hasn't been around in a while. He keeps up from here and there, okay. But Stone Cold, unfortunately, and I love Stone Cold, he lost touch a little bit. Because he would have backed up those words with, could have been money, but this right here is not making any money. That's what he should have followed it up with. Because this Becky Lynch character is not making money. So Stone Cold should have said, could have made money. And guys, I have the facts. I know there's going to be people going, she's making money, BC. She's the hottest star, BC. And my facts will prove otherwise. You tell me she sold out Phoenix's VIP access in 90 seconds. I'm telling you it took a full week before she finally sold out her VIP for WrestleMania. That's New York City. That's supposed to be the same amount of people, if not more, than Phoenix. And she needed a full week. This was a couple months after the tickets went on sale for Phoenix, and that shows you how her momentum slowed down. It took a full week to sell out those VIP access tickets. Back in Phoenix, 90 seconds. So see what I mean? Stone Cold's right. It could have been money. She was riding some wave of some financial gain at first. Now you look at the proof, the facts that I'm giving you. It took a full week this time around to sell those VIP tickets. But then you look at live attendance numbers. Live attendance did not go up. It either stayed steady or in many cases declined. Live attendance went down under Becky Lynch's superstar status when everybody anointed her as the leader of the company now. She did nothing for attendance. Where's the money coming from then? Okay, let's go to ratings. Ratings declined under Becky Lynch's anointed power. They either stayed steady or declined. This latest storyline with Becky Lynch and the whole apology 3-hour storyline that revolved around Becky Lynch, ratings continued to drop every hour from 2.6 to 2.4 to 2.2. And I have people go, BC, you can't blame the ratings solely on one person. No question. But they solely revolved around the entire show around one person. And it was the person that a lot of you anointed as the leader of the company now. So somebody has to be the lead responsibility. It's going to be the person they revolved the show around. That's what they mean about bringing in money, bringing in viewers. They were hoping that revolving the show around her, it was going to attract viewers. Or at least keep them steady and not move anywhere. No, they left every hour. Every segment dropped off. No money there either. Merchandise! She's getting no more than the New Day, in fact, even less. Money! What do you mean she's money, Stone Cold? You mean she could have been money. There's a difference, Stone Cold. Stone Cold! Stone Cold! Stone Cold! Can't say Stone Cold without giving the Jim Ross Three Amigos. Stone Cold! Stone Cold! Stone Cold! We love Stone Cold. And I understand what he means. You know what I mean? He's lost touch a little bit with the product. I understand that. He just means that the whole character could have been something. And I think he's still thinking of it as in present sense. But it's just not. That ship has sailed. Can we salvage Becky Lynch? We're hoping. We're hoping it starts tonight and she shows up and beats the shit out of Ronda Rousey all over the building and gets some of that badass character back and not that limping, gimping, meek, weak character. who's looking for sympathy. No, we want the badass Becky Lynch. Hopefully it starts tonight and tomorrow, Monday Night Raw. And in the weeks to come till WrestleMania, hopefully we get that badass character back. And hopefully we can salvage some type of intrigue for Becky versus Ronda and or Charlotte Flair. But right now, Stone Cold! Stone Cold! Stone Cold! She's not making money, bro. I'm giving you facts. There's still gonna be some idiot that tries to challenge me on this. BC, she's bringing in money in other ways. Attendance at live events, ratings, merchandise, VIP tickets for autograph. No, she's not. Listen to me for once. Stop trying to be combative just to try to prove me wrong. And listen, I'm giving you facts. Sorry, Stone Cold. We love Stone Cold. We do. But, you know, even Stone Cold at times has to be called out on bullshit. It's not money. Say could have been money, and now we're talking. Just like Ronda Rousey, by the way. Lana called out Ronda Rousey on social media and called her overrated and says she doesn't draw. Well, again, as I just admitted, if they booked Becky Lynch correctly, she could be drawing money. Just like Ronda Rousey. With her history, she could have been bringing in lots of money and drawing lots more than she is right now for WWE. They book her as a hoorah speech, handshaking, baby kissing, ass kisser. That's how Ronda's booked. That feud with Sasha Banks, she was basically begging Sasha Banks not to be pissed at her. Now all of a sudden she's good friends with Becky Lynch because it's not fair that Charlotte Flair is in the match. Now it's not fair. How are you booking this once baddest woman on the planet moniker that you gave her? And now you're booking her just like this. It's like Bayley's character. Even Bayley has gotten a more mean streak in her this past year. When Bayley first arrived, she was just this happy-go-lucky, just happy to be here, smiley Finn Balor type character. Even Bayley has more of a mean streak right now. So I want to come down hard on Lana and say, what the fuck are you doing? Ronda Rousey is giving her all to this business when she didn't have to. And you're saying she doesn't draw, but Lana's got a point. If you're going to book her like shit, you're not giving her a chance to draw. And it's the same with Becky. People think I'm just coming down on Becky because I don't like Becky, when if you hear what I'm saying, I actually like Becky Lynch. She's a cool gal in real life, too. But if you're going to book her like shit, I'm not particularly a fan of Becky. So if you're going to book her like crap, I'm not going to be excited to see her in a main event of any pay-per-view or any show, especially Mania. And you guys know I really like Ronda Rousey. But if you're going to book her like crap, I'm going to be honest, just like I was with Becky. Then she's not going to have a chance to draw any real money. And people are going to expose the bullshit that she's playing character-wise in the stories that you're putting her in. Because you're not putting her in the right spots. She's in the same bad positioning as Becky Lynch. Horrible booking and tragic character development, or lack thereof. That's the truth. As far as overrated, I hate that word for Ronda because Ronda came from, she didn't have a wrestling background. She went into this thing head first. She's given us some good matches, man. Match of the night last year's WrestleMania. Nobody can doubt that. She's had some ugly performances as well, no doubt. She's been a little cringeworthy on the mic, no doubt. But for what she has chosen to do when she could have had a Brock Lesnar schedule easily, she decided to go as close to full-time as possible. She's doing live events that you guys don't even see on the weekends. She's showing up for live events. She didn't need to do that, man. She's trying to get better and better. They're putting her in just horrible situations, guys. I don't like the overrated moniker for Ronda. I think there is some people on that roster, no doubt, that you can say they're overrated. For Ronda, I don't see how you can even say that because she's in her first year when she knew nothing about actually wrestling. She went in head first. She's given us more than she had to. She's put on some damn good wrestling matches. Again, match of the night a couple of times. That's saying something. I don't know about overrated. So, I'm not going to drill Lana for her words because of booking and her character development for Ronda Rousey, the way they've been going about business. But I will say, overrated, that's not fair at all. Let's stick with the women, and let's go to Sasha Banks. The report broke out right after Monday Night Raw. You guys noticed she hasn't been really wrestling the last 2 weeks, not getting too physical. Not throwing wrestling moves at all on Monday Night Raw. It's been all Bayley. That's because she does have nagging injuries. Now, it almost was to the point where she was out of the chamber at the beginning of the week. Right after Raw, a news story broke from reputable sources that Sasha Banks is now out, officially, of the Elimination Chamber. Then we found out a day later she is actually cleared and in the Elimination Chamber. And now we're hearing words that she is still banged up and she will not be able to go full throttle in the chamber. So again, guys, as of now, I know everyone's hearing mixed signals. As of the making of this video, Sasha is officially in the match. Now, come bell time, come the official match, she could be out of the match. We don't know. But as of the making of this video, she is officially in. But we're hearing she's still banged up and might not be able to go the entirety of the match, which means Sasha and Bayley wouldn't be walking out of Houston, wouldn't be walking out of Elimination Chamber with the straps. That's huge news because we all expect Sasha and Bayley to be walking out with the straps. So was that the plan all along, which it better have been, because why else was she stuck in a tag team in all of 2018 and 2019 now? But was that the plan all along, and now because of Sasha's injury, are they going to put the straps on another team like Nia and Tamina, for instance? The Riott Squad. This is what I mean about intrigue, guys. You guys know I'm a huge Sasha Banks fan, so this means a lot to me. I'm hoping not only is she fully ready to go tonight, but that she's ready to go the distance. I mean, that's what we're hoping for. But that's the best news I can give you guys. At this point, it's hour to hour with Sasha Banks. But the last report we got is she's officially in the chamber, not out. And I know a lot of you guys heard at the beginning of the week from reputable sources, many are saying WWE is the one that leaked it out, that she is out of the chamber. That changed. She's in it. We just don't know to what degree. So Sasha Banks is a huge question mark. Because if you're so banged up that people don't even know if you're in or out, and you're supposed to be in an Elimination Chamber match that's probably going to go the better part of an hour, this means that Sasha and Bayley walking out as champions is highly unlikely. If that's the case. We all gotta wait and see, man. That's why they wrestle the matches. I want to give a quick update on Jimmy Uso. You guys know I broke a video out earlier this week, or later in the week, actually, a few days ago, that Naomi was driving Jimmy Uso in the passenger seat. They were driving the wrong way on a one-way street in Detroit. They were pulled over because apparently you can't drive the wrong way on a one-way street. Whatever. I've done it a few times. Actually, I can validate that's not a good thing to do. But so is drinking and driving. That is not a good thing to do. I've learned my lesson. Harsh lessons in life. And something I will never, ever do again. Couldn't ever do it again. I learned so many lessons, guys. And again, they were harsh. So I'm so glad that Jimmy Uso was not driving and was not behind the wheel intoxicated. It was Naomi, and Naomi was not intoxicated. Naomi was not arrested. But apparently while police were talking with Naomi, Jimmy Uso was so intoxicated, he was getting frustrated. He got out of the car against the authorities' orders, took off his shirt, and started squaring up with the authorities. He was going to throw bows at the police. So the police were so scared that they took out their tasers. They were able to control and calm down Jimmy Uso. They sent them to the Detroit Penitentiary, not the Uso Penitentiary. Gotta throw that joke in there. But this is no laughing matter, guys. This is a huge deal, I know, for Naomi and Jimmy Uso, because as I stated in that video earlier this week, I should say, but later in the week, I stated that they're such good people. In a business of assholes, and again, I'm one of them, they're such good people. So you hate to see bad things happen to good people. And last year, Jimmy's brother, Jey Uso, was actually arrested for intoxication behind the wheel. A DUI, driving under the influence. At least, again, this was not Jimmy Uso behind the wheel, but he was so intoxicated that he could not control himself and started trying to fight police. You can't do that. So I told you guys he was actually arrested. A couple of different charges. Obviously, you would have public intoxication. You would have disorderly conduct. You probably have obstruction of justice. Some of those are misdemeanors. The other one is actually a federal offense. I told you guys he got arrested, but the next morning he was released on bail. That is true. He was released. He should be ready to go tonight if Vince McMahon doesn't punish him professionally. That remains to be seen. We'll talk more about that when we get to the Usos match in the preview of Elimination Chamber coming up later in the podcast. But he was released. He is now pending a future court date. Another court date has to be set where the charges are brought in front of a judge and then they decide what they're going to do. So he could get jail time for this, guys. We hope he does not. We love the Usos. We love Naomi. I feel that they're hitting their strides now more than ever right now. I feel the Usos are the best tag team in the business. And I feel that Naomi, the way she's been looking lately, she's ready for another title run. Horrible timing, but is there really good timing for an event, a situation like this? The answer is no. So any timing would have been horrible. It just, it sucks that it's to such good people. But it's over now. They've most likely, and we're hoping, learned from that, as we all do. We're all allowed to make mistakes as humans. We learn from them, we grow and we mature, and we make sure we don't make the same mistake twice. Bottom line, and I fully expect two brilliant people like Naomi and Jimmy Uso to learn from their mistakes. They won't be doing that again. And guys, remember, Jimmy Uso wasn't even driving. They had some drinks. Naomi was driving them back to where they were going. They just took the wrong way, and that's why they were pulled over. If they were not pulled over, most likely they're going to reach their destination, and everything would have been fine. And again, Uso was not driving, so they weren't breaking any law. So you got to remember, they got pulled over, things escalated. It wasn't just they were partying and decided to get behind the wheel. No, I've made that mistake before, and I've paid the harshest of prices. I can tell you how bad that would be. They didn't do that. So, they definitely deserve a second chance personally. Professionally, we'll see where Vince and company goes. They actually released a statement, guys. A little more details from the video I put out a few days ago. WWE has since issued a statement, and it was a very short one, so you can tell they're not really thrilled by this. But they just said that Jonathan Fatu, which is the character of Jimmy Uso, that's his real name, Jonathan Fatu, is responsible for his own personal decisions. That was their statement. That was it. One sentence. Responsible for his own personal decisions. They said personal, guys. So does that mean professionally they're not going to take action? They'll just talk to him, make sure it doesn't happen again, and let his match tonight go on as planned? That's what we're hoping for. We'll see, guys. Again, that's why they wrestle the matches. We hope nothing but the best for Jimmy Uso and Naomi. And anybody calling them idiots or saying they shouldn't have done what they did, what? Try to drive home after having a few drinks and the legal person was behind the wheel. They shouldn't have done. Stop, guys. Sometimes you make a little bad decision making. You had one too many. Anybody coming down on Naomi, I don't know why. Naomi didn't do anything. Anybody coming down on Jimmy Uso, you've never made a mistake then before in your life. Congratulations. You're perfect. That's awesome. The rest of us, not so much. The Revival. This is, and I do want to get to the Elimination Chamber preview, guys. I did want to make this around an hour, so I'll try to hurry through the last few stories here. Make them a little quicker. This is something you guys never thought I'd say, but I'm going to say it. The Revival is going to get some praise from the Amplified Man. They put up an Instagram or social media post. Somebody sent this to me. I don't know if it's Twitter, Instagram, who knows. But it was of the Revival, and they had the old school tag team title belts on. Like the ones Demolition used to carry. And Heart Foundation and such. And they actually said, the people have spoken. Bring back the old school tag titles. And I was like, for the first time since the Revival has been on the main roster, they got a pop from me. I popped for the Revival. I was like, yes. Guys, I'm not even joking. I would, without question, 110% be on board with the Revival if they were able to bring back the old school classic tag titles and get rid of those disgusting penny belts and nickel or dime belts over on SmackDown. Get rid of them. That does not scream championship. It's not cool looking. Those old school tag title belts were some of my favorite in the business in the last 3 decades that I've been watching. Bring them back. If they could do that, I would anoint the Revival as my favorite tag team. I'm saying it right now. I don't even care how harsh I've been on them in the past. They will become my favorite tag team if they can bring back those tag titles. If they can do the unthinkable. CM Punk was never able to bring back WWE ice cream bars, and I hold a vendetta against him till this very day. But if they can bring back those tag titles, I am Team Revival from here to the end of time. Just putting it out there. Seth Rollins, guys, there's a word that he is more injured than they're leading on. That is actually true. He is really banged up, but not too severe, don't worry. He can actually go right now if WWE needs him to. But the nagging injuries are enough for him to be kept out of action. They want to really protect his match with Brock Lesnar, and that's why you're not seeing Seth Rollins compete often, and you're probably not going to see him compete through Fastlane's pay-per-view either next month. That's the story on Seth, guys. Don't get too worried. He is going to make his WrestleMania match. But if you love seeing Seth every week competing, you might not be seeing that. He is a little bit more banged up than we had previously thought. But nothing severe to the point where he's being kept off and just can't go if WWE needed him to. Hopefully that clears up any Seth Rollins confusion. I do want to get to the preview, guys. Do we go over... We'll just talk about Batista real quick. Reports earlier in the week was that Batista is in deep talks with WWE for a return for Mania, and then that he's in deep talks with AEW for a big appearance at Double or Nothing, AEW's big event in May. Which is it? Is Batista going to show up at Mania or AEW's Double or Nothing? The latest report we're hearing is that Batista wants nothing to do with a wrestling match. So which is it? It's in the eye of the beholder. We don't know, guys. It's all speculation. He could show up at Mania. If he doesn't, then he's going to show up at Double or Nothing. If he doesn't show up at either, then I think Batista has finally called it quits. And that's a shame because I think Batista has one more big run in WWE before he finally calls it a quits. I would give him a title. One more run. 3 months. 3-month run, guys. Let him have one more, his day in the sun, his 3 months in the sun, and then really get over a younger talent. Wouldn't it be cool if an Aleister Black or somebody like that, a Tommaso Ciampa, comes up from NXT and defeats a beast like Batista? You kill 2 birds with 1 stone. You get the nostalgia, you get the Batista, a guy like him, holding the strap one more time, and then he puts over a young talent. That's the future of the business, we hope. So everybody wins. Every type of fan, every demographic gets to win there. I feel, maybe I'm in the minority, but I think it would be cool to have Batista as a champion, switching hands over to Tommaso Ciampa or something like that. That would be fucking badass. Guys, before I start the Elimination Chamber preview, do you mind if I just head out, double fist some Starbucks? I gotta get some coffee, I gotta retake some caffeine, and then I'm gonna come back. Don't worry, guys, you ain't gotta go nowhere. Through the magic of television, through the magic of YouTube, we're gonna blink, and BC Amplified's gonna be back after having a couple of coffees. And we're going to fucking be amplified doing this chamber preview because I definitely want to go over every match and give you guys my amplified thoughts. And in order to do such, Popeye needs his spinach. I got to get some coffees. I'll be right back with you guys. Again, blink and I'll be right back. We're going to get some coffee first. And then it's Elimination Chamber preview time. Alright guys, so we're settled back in. We had our Starbucks, we double-fisted. We had 1 cappuccino with 1 latte. And now we are fucking ready to fly through the card that is Elimination Chamber. We got some caffeine just in case we need it, just in case we need to get amplified. Because some of these matches just befuddle me, but that's WWE for you. I'm gonna go through this card, guys. This is 7 matches in all. Let me just make sure I'm correct. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 7 matches announced as of the making of this video. Now, obviously, in the hours leading up to the card, sometimes they throw in another kickoff match, maybe 2. But as of the making of this video, I have 7 announced matches. I'll start off with the Cruiserweight Championship. Buddy Murphy taking on Tozawa. We think that's going to be pushed, if it isn't already, to the pre-show, but maybe they'll put him on the main show. But I know I'm going to be the bearer of bad news here. I'm going to be the bad guy here. And I'm going to state an unpopular opinion for some folks. But who gives a shit if this is on the main show or not? BC, they've worked their butts off to get on the main show. BC, if they can just be given the spotlight on the main show, this will make people take notice and maybe they'll watch on 205 Live. Guys, we've tried this experiment so many times. I'm going to hit you with truth and this might hurt. Nobody that sees this match, Murphy versus Tozawa on the main show, is gonna go, wow, these two are amazing. I'm gonna start watching 205 Live now. Gee, Billy, you should have been all along. This is the type of action you're gonna catch every Tuesday night. Or anytime you check out the network in 205 Live. Well, damn it, Christy, I'm gonna start doing that every week. In your fantasy world, that works out brilliantly. It doesn't work out that way, though, in the real world. Nobody is going to watch Murphy and Tozawa and go, I got to start watching this every week. Again, they tried this experiment so many times, and no viewership goes up. Trust me, so it doesn't matter if this is pre-show or not. Let's be honest. It's Buddy Murphy versus Tozawa. They can set a good tone, a good pace, they can have a good wrestling match, but when it's all said and done, the universe as a whole, under the WWE umbrella, doesn't care about Tozawa on a pay-per-view a couple of months before WrestleMania. If you want people to give a shit, you gotta make them give a shit. Throwing them on the main show and going, hopefully this will be exposure. No, that's not going to cut it for the Amplified Man. You make us give a shit and then you put them on the pay-per-view. Because pay-per-views are supposed to be between two individuals going head-to-head that we give a shit about. That we care about their feud. We care about their storyline. We care about both characters. And we need to see the ultimate payoff and blow-off. A pay-per-view shouldn't just be for exposure and hoping that these two will put on a good enough match that then people will go and tune into your show or your product or your brand. No, the pay-per-view should never be about showing or providing exposure. It should be about the ultimate payoff and blow-off. Pay-per-views aren't used as TV time. That's what TV time is for. That's what the network shows are for. That's what your weekly shows are for. Build up interest, and then at the pay-per-view, you have the payoff. I hope this makes sense. For some reason, there's a niche of fans out there that think the pay-per-views are for exposure. The pay-per-views are now going to act like storylines. Weekly shows. No. Don't waste my pay-per-view time trying to get people exposure. No, if they haven't gotten the exposure yet, then they sure as hell won't be given a damn to on the pay-per-view. I assure you, and I've seen this experiment time and time again. I ain't hating on the 205 Live guys. I'm hating on the whole booked scenario. This is the same repetitive process time and time again. They throw the Cruiserweight Championship on any given pre-show, and nobody gives a shit. They try every now and again to put it on the main show. They put on a good match. But in the end, nobody gives a shit. Until they change the formula of 205 Live, the actual weekly show, nobody will give a shit. 7 matches. I'm already getting amplified, and I'm only talking about a Cruiserweight match that may or may not be on the pre-show as it is. I told you guys I was double fisting. No apologies. The second match of these 7 announced matches is Braun Strowman versus Baron Corbin. Why? Why, I ask? A match that nobody wants to see on Monday Night Raw, let alone a pay-per-view. I might want to see the Cruiserweight match way more than Strowman and Corbin. Nobody under the sun in this planet wants to see Corbin take on Strowman any day of the week, let alone pay-per-view Sunday. Why are we seeing Braun Strowman and Baron Corbin is my first question. My second question, do you give a shit? Because I know I don't. Because I know anybody under the WWE umbrella / universe doesn't care about it. Nobody in the professional wrestling world cares about Strowman or Corbin. I don't care who wins, who loses. If they both explode in the middle of the ring somehow. I don't care. That might be an interesting storyline. Imagine those headlines the next day. Strowman taking on Corbin, and they both imploded into smithereens. What happened to them? Who knows? Wait till Monday Night Raw. Where undoubtedly, they'll have another rematch together. Strowman and Corbin is an actual match for the pay-per-view. And I think there was a stipulation, right? No holds barred, or maybe 2 out of 3 falls. Who knows? I think there was a stipulation added. And don't worry, guys. You ain't got to write in the comments below what that stipulation was, because nobody actually cares. Unless this is like a throw your opponent off the roof of the arena match, then I don't care. That'd be kind of cool, actually. Third match out of these 7 announced matches, Finn Balor is taking on Bobby Lashley and Lio Rush in a handicap match. Again, who under the sun in this planet cares about Finn Balor versus Bobby Lashley when I've seen this match a bunch of times one-on-one during Monday Night Raw in the last 6 months, and even more times in tag team and even 6-man tag team matches? I have seen Balor versus Lashley so many times. This is just another redundant Raw match just on a pay-per-view 7 weeks before WrestleMania. And on top of that, why is this a handicap match? Why does Bobby Lashley need help to take out Finn Balor, A? And B, who signed off on this? Vince McMahon? Jack Tunney? The old WWF president? Did Gorilla Monsoon come back from the heavens for one night and sign off on this trash? Was it Fit Finlay? He's got power all of a sudden. He put Becky Lynch into the Rumble. Did Fit Finlay just say, yeah, it's a title match, but let's let Lio Rush decide the outcome? It doesn't make sense. But that's the whole company, isn't it? So there's nothing else to talk about that either. Right off the bat, I got Tozawa and Murphy like I give a damn. I got Strowman and Corbin like I give a damn. I got Balor versus Lashley and for some reason Lio Rush, all for the IC strap like I give a damn or like it makes sense. The fourth match I finally care about. This is Miz, Shane McMahon and The Miz, tag team champions over for SmackDown, taking on challengers the Usos. As we talked about at the beginning of this video, if the Usos are going to compete, because we know Jimmy's situation, I believe from what I'm hearing, they're still going to compete. And if they do, I don't know now if Vince is going to throw them the championships. I don't know if they were ever going to anyway. I kind of saw this going to where Usos win the championships and Miz turns on Shane McMahon, and that sets up their WrestleMania match. But if Miz wins this match over the Usos, then it's Miz who is going into WrestleMania as champions. I don't know who challenges them, though. You guys know how I feel. I feel the Usos right now are the best team, the best tag team in professional wrestling. And I said it in last week's video, one of them, I think it was the SmackDown review and reaction. I said everyone talks about Revival and Young Bucks like I give a damn about it. No, I give a shit about something like the Young Bucks versus the Usos. Now that would be a badass match. But I feel the Usos are the greatest tag team right now in pro wrestling. I feel they're hitting all their strides. Their wrestling is flawless, obviously, but their promo work is beyond flawless right now. They're feeding off of each other so brilliantly. They're so fluent in the ring. Obviously, they always are. They're hitting all their strides. This is the peak of their career, I feel. If they walk out of the Elimination Chamber, Houston, Texas, with those straps, especially with all the problems Jimmy Uso has had this week, then that is a testament to not only how good they are, but how much the company really feels that they can give them the ball, even at times of adversity. And this is one of those times. If Miz walks out as tag strap holder still, I'm cool with that too. You can't say Miz doesn't deserve at least a tag strap, and Shane McMahon puts his body on the line every time he's in that ring. So you can't say he's not deserving of anything he gets. I love Shane McMahon. I love the Usos. I like The Miz a lot. To me, this may be a little biased, but I'm down with this tag team match. That's probably the sleeper match for other people. And for me, that's one of the captivating matches I'm looking forward to. Then we go into the 5th announced match of the night, and this is the Monday Night Raw Women's Championship. Champion Ronda Rousey taking on challenger Ruby Riott. I'm getting choked up with this match. On the one hand, you could look at it like, hey, Ruby Riott gets a little bit of spotlight, but doesn't this feel rushed and for no reason? It's like Sasha Banks. You guys know I'm a huge Sasha Banks fan. But didn't it feel around Royal Rumble that she only had like a 2-week build to get to the match with Ronda? And then obviously we knew she was going to lose. And then she's right back to the tag team situation with Bayley. So it was like the world was revolving around Sasha Banks for just 2 weeks. And then when it was all said and done, and the deed was done to Ronda, everything kind of went back into where it was before. It's the same way with Ruby. It feels like she only gets a 2-week build. Everyone's talking about, wow, Ruby Riott versus Ronda. And then obviously Ruby Riott's going to lose tonight. And then she's going to be right back with the Riott Squad. So yeah, it's cool she gets the spotlight. B, she definitely is deserving of such because we know she's damn good in the ring. And she's only going to keep improving. So yeah, I love seeing Ruby Riott in these spots. But it's like, it's such a quick build. She's going to lose. She's going to be placed right back with the Riott Squad, so I don't really know what this does. It seems to me like it was the only other option for WWE. Ronda Rousey has went through everyone else. Why not have a one-on-one match with Ruby, I guess? And again, I already said, Ronda Rousey is obviously going to win this match. There's no way Ruby Riott walks out with that title. I wouldn't even know if there would be a good, bad, and the ugly video the next day. It would be cool to see, but I'd be so shocked I couldn't pull myself together to make a video. If Ruby Riott ever beat Ronda, I would be just totally shocked. Guys, the only way Becky Lynch gets to bring back any momentum that she once had, Becky Lynch has to show up, beat the hell out of Ronda Rousey, either during the match or after the match. A beatdown for the ages, all around ringside, over the broadcast table, into the crowd, back to ringside, beat the hell out of her, stand in the middle of the ring, crowd going nuts, and she's looking all around like, what the fuck did I just do? I know what I did. The man came back in town. And I did exactly what I said I was going to do from day one. Cause destruction and can't nobody do anything about it. They already suspended me. I got nothing to lose. And she just beat the shit out of WWE's, one of their golden childs, Ronda Rousey. And she's looking all around like, what? Then the crowd would be going ballistic for a reason. Even the Amplified man would say, hey, that's how you booked that. Because I just booked it. So obviously I would be on board. It's my booking. But I feel that would be awesome for Becky. You're keeping her off TV for a week or two. Bring her back at the pay-per-view. Remind everybody just who in the hell she is and who she can be. And rekindle the rivalry the way it should be rekindled. They shouldn't be buddies taking on heel Charlotte. It should be Ronda and Becky wanting to kill each other. If Becky came into that Elimination Chamber Sunday and interfered in that match, or even after that Ronda match, beat the hell out of Ronda Rousey and showed everybody that she still is that badass man character, then hey man, then we might be able to salvage Becky and Ronda, with or without Charlotte. But I would definitely bring Becky in and have her annihilate Ronda Rousey from behind and beat the hell out of her. That's what I would do. I'm not keeping Becky Lynch off this pay-per-view, man, so she could just stick in obscurity until the time's right and they think they have some booking for her. Come on, man. Now we go into the 2 chamber matches. We'll start with the women's tag team title chamber match. This is to crown the first ever women's tag team champions. In this match, you're going to have Bayley and Sasha Banks, we hope. They're going to be kicking off this match with Mandy Rose and Sonya Deville. Those are the first 2 teams. Then you're going to have the other four teams kind of trickle in afterwards. You're going to have Nia Jax and Tamina Snuka. You're going to have the Iconics. You're going to have Carmella and Naomi. The Riott Squad, the other 2 members, Sarah Logan, Liv Morgan. Those are the other 4 teams. So you're going to have all 6 teams battling for these championships in the Elimination Chamber. We think that it's going to be Sasha and Bayley, because otherwise, what the hell were they stuck together all of 2018 and back here in 2019 if they're not going to be crowned the first ever tag strap holders? Some people are saying, yeah, it'd be more epic if they didn't get it and then they go to WrestleMania and win them. Why? All that was, they didn't even make history? Sasha and Bayley now are second round tag strap holders? No, you make them make history. That was the whole point. Otherwise, it's not history. You're just the second to do something. Nobody remembers the second man to land on the moon. They remember the first. But if Sasha is really more injured than we think, then they could be eliminated out of the gates, and that's maybe why they put him in as the first tag team. And maybe when it's all said and done, Nia Jax and Tamina win the tag straps. Maybe they throw them on the Riott Squad. If it ain't going to be Sasha and Bayley, you got to think it's a heel team. You got to think it ain't going to be Carmella and Naomi, unfortunately, because I like Carmella and I love Naomi. I don't know if they'd give them to the Iconics. They're definitely not ready, but if there's any more gelled tag team, personally speaking, not speaking wrestling-wise, but two participants that know each other better than anyone, even Tamina and Nia, even more than the Riott Squad, it's the Iconics. They have been paired up for years. Way more than they've been on the main roster that we know of. The Iconics can gel together. They're just really still green, and I don't know if they should be holding tag straps going into Mania. But if, mark my words, if it ain't Sasha and Bayley, it's going to one of those heel teams. I have a feeling Vince is going to throw it on Tamina and Nia Jax. But again, what we thought all along was Sasha and Bayley. It's going to be interesting. Whether we're on board with this being a great match or not, we can all at least agree there is a little bit of suspense and drama and anticipation here because we don't know where this is going. This could go any which way, and no matter what, two females are walking out of Houston, Texas, the Elimination Chamber match after making history, because it will be made tonight. Then we go on to the SmackDown Heavyweight Championship Chamber match. Champion Daniel Bryan, he'll be taking on Samoa Joe, Randy Orton, Jeff Hardy, Kofi Kingston. Did I miss anyone? AJ Styles? Those are the six. You gotta believe Daniel Bryan is walking out of this with the strap. Otherwise, what was this all for? Daniel Bryan has to be going into Mania with that strap. I mean, that's the only way this could go. You're not gonna play hot potato with it 7 weeks before WrestleMania. But I do expect a damn killer matchup. Borderline epic if everybody goes out there and does what they're capable of. But I don't think there's as much suspense as there is with the SmackDown, the Women's Tag Team Championship Chamber match. I feel with the SmackDown Heavyweight Title Chamber match, we kind of know who's walking out with it. Daniel Bryan. If anybody else does, I'd be blown away. It could be captivating. It could be newsworthy and interesting. But I'd be blown away. This has to be Daniel Bryan, and I really feel they're going to pull out all the stops. Everybody's going to try to one-up each other. I believe you're going to have some huge spots planned. So when it goes off the air, I don't know what the last match would be. Are they going to give it to the women, or are they going to give it to the SmackDown Heavyweight Championship? That's the card. You know, there's matches here that befuddle us. There's matches here we most likely don't want to see collectively, universally. And then there's some matches here that's intriguing. We're going to let it play out, but in the end, this is just another stepping stone to WrestleMania. And I can't even say it's the last one, because in a few weeks, we got Fastlane. And that's the last stepping stone, the last speed bump on the road to WrestleMania. And then we can finally see the card that WWE has put together for WrestleMania. Right now, tonight is going to hold a lot of those cards, guys. After tonight and after Elimination Chamber goes off the air, we're going to have a lot clearer picture of where they're going with WrestleMania. It's going to be huge. So, whether you like this card or not, whether you're anticipating it, intrigued, excited, guys, this is the card they put together, and we'll all collectively be watching because a lot of stock is being put into this event, again, as I just said, because it holds a lot of stock for WrestleMania. So this pay-per-view tonight, a lot is on the line. And the picture for WrestleMania is going to be that much clearer, man. I'm pumped for it. I am, man. I might not be as intrigued or in full suspense as I am for a lot of pay-per-views, But I'm pumped to see where they're going with a lot of things. And in just a few hours, we're going to find that out. I'm going to make another coffee run beforehand. I'm going to fucking... I don't have another hand, but I'll triple fist it somehow. I'm going to get 3 lattes or 2 lattes and a kappa. Or maybe a kappa, a frappa, and a latte. And then we're going to rock it out. We're going to catch Elimination Chamber. I will catch you guys tomorrow for Elimination Chamber, the good, the bad, and the ugly. That, of course, is the review show. I'm going to go over all the good, all the bad, and if there's ugly, we're going to get amplified. I'll see you guys tomorrow. Thank you for joining me for the 7th ever BC's Pro Wrestling Podcast. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Now it's time for Elimination Chamber. We'll talk about it tomorrow. For now, holla at your boy Peace, because he's out. The Amplified Man saying check you.